All right, welcome back. This is Unit 1, Lesson 1. This is the first intro part of why do we study Africa. So if you remember from our day 2, I think we went over like what to expect in this class, and we're going to study Africa, we're going to study the dynasties of China, and we're going to study Mongolia in this first unit. So we are looking here at why do we study Africa. So today the objective is that you will be able to begin by discussing why learning about Africa and perceptions of African and African history is important by looking at photographs and maps to discuss and respond to questions that introduce major elements of Unit 1. So we're sort of thinking about that, who has power and why. And your language objective today is to write a short response describing how visual representation, so how things are seen, shows power by using map images to support your claim. So you're going to be looking at some map images and you're going to support your claim of how the world is shown, shows or doesn't show power. So our essential question for the unit and then sort of the lesson, so the Unit 1 is going to be how do empires grow and consolidate their power, both culturally, politically, and economically. So culturally would be like language, religion, architecture, that sort of thing. Politically would be like their governmental structures, military, and then economically would be how do they make money. Today's question is going to be how does representation demonstrate power? Sort of circling back to those objectives. Today, remember the tasks that you need to complete for the day. You need to finish and turn in this document, and you need to make sure that you are taking your mastery check in Edulastic. I'll give more instructions on that in the last video. But you can always find video links to the section that we're in these pink boxes. You can just click it and I'll guide you through. Today's a little bit different. We're starting with vocab. I will try to do this for every lesson, a little bit different from the last one because that was a super intro. But we're going to start with 2 vocabulary words today. The first one is representations. So representation is the description or portrayal of someone or something in a particular way or of being a certain nature. So representation of, there's been a lot of the talk in the news lately, representation of people of color as being criminals and dangerous, and their representations of Asian people in movies as being like the smart ones or the really goofy, dopey ones. So it's like how something is shown. A sentence here to help you understand it. The representations of the Black Lives Matter protest on some media outlets show dangerous mobs rather than people who are fed up with the status quo. So they're represented as being dangerous, where in fact most of them have been peaceful. The second word is projections. So sometimes a projection can mean talking louder, so you're projecting your voice. In this particular usage, we're using it as it applies to geography. So a projection is a method of representing part of the surface of the Earth or a celestial sphere, so like a planet, on a plane surface. So if we smooshed out the globe, how does it look? That's a projection. And the sentence that goes with this is, some map projections are more equitable for showing true land mass size. So we'll see that today in this first part of the lesson. First we're going to start with our do now. This is just get you thinking about Africa and what you know and what you think and your perceptions of how it's represented to you in sort of your broader knowledge. So in this first unit, we're going to be studying Africa. And to start, I want you to think about the word Africa and the space below, so in each of these boxes, you're going to write 5 words. It could be a short phrase as well if you want to do that come to your mind when you think about Africa. So take a second, pause this video, and just think of those 5 words. Great, so now that you've done that, you're going to read the themes and descriptions below. So these are kind of big, broad themes for Africa. We can think about these for China, for Mesoamerica, for later when we do world wars, kind of thinking about themes. And this particular first one is diversity of Africa. So Africa is the second largest continent in the world after Asia. Its diversity as a continent includes its physical geography and its climate. Its many cultures, traditions, beliefs, values, religions, and artistic expressions. In its many types of economic production, distribution, and consumption, and its diverse social and political structures and practices. So this is basically just saying there's a lot to Africa. It's the second largest continent. It spans a huge amount of territory. So it's just a lot of things in it. The second one is rich history. So Africa is the birthplace of human societies. It has and is home to many great civilizations and empires. Its history has been shaped by contact with others through great migrations or movements, wars, slavery, international and local conflict, and peace agreements. So it's not just, we can't just think of it like, that's where Americans got slaves. There's so much more to it than that. It's a really rich, deep history with lots of different types of empires. The third one is Africa is globally connected. So for decades, Africa was interconnected or connected to other places with places, people, country, and civilizations, both wanted and not that came from outside or within the continent. These interactions have led to many African contributions to the world like agricultural products, minerals, and other natural resources, as well as knowledge and cultural expression through language, art, music, science, math, and architecture, and many, many more. So we'll learn like the Portuguese were the very first to use it as sort of a trading point. The Spanish, those on the Iberian Peninsula, were able to use it as sort of a stopover in the Mediterranean. All along the north coast, Mediterranean traders and travelers used it as like a point of connection. And then this last one is representations and stereotypes of Africa. Popular ideas of Africa held by Europeans and Americans and many others are often based on stereotypes and incorrect assumptions and labels that have been spread over the course of history. These ideas offer inaccurate images of Africa and do not tell the whole story. Throughout this section of the unit, we will be confronting stereotypes and misrepresentations of Africa that are commonly held by both our current and historic world perspectives. So now that you've read through the themes and you've thought of those 5 words from up above, I want you to pick 2 of those words. So 2 of the words are small phrases that you've chosen. Connect it to one of these themes, and then explain how that's connected. So you might say, we could take the one from American history, where we say like slavery. The theme that would connect to is representations and stereotypes. And then I would explain the majority of Europeans and Americans illegally captured Africans and brought them to their nations to use as slave labor. However, that was not the only thing happening in Africa. Something like that. Once you're done with that, we're going to move on to the next part, and there's another video for that. See you there.